Everyone on Not a Straight Line Live, this is your Act 1 beginner's call. Beginners to the stage, please. Act 1 beginners.
Hello, dear listener. I'm smiling because it's 10:05 on Sunday the 11th, and I suspect I'm giving Matt Bliss, my esteemed and extraordinarily talented audio engineer, kittens, because this episode is due to go out at 11 minutes past 11, as every other episode has of these daily episodes. But I'm recording it now, so we've got plenty of time to top and tail it with the intro and outro stuff. And anyway, and this is a particularly significant and poignant and potentially emotional episode because, well, for a couple of reasons. Firstly, this is the last episode, certainly in its current form, last daily episode of Not a Straight Line. So I started these daily episodes on 31st of March, ran them all the way through April. We're now on the 11th of May. And if you've listened to the last few episodes, you'll know what's coming up next with the wealthy artist. And these daily episodes, in engaging with my thoughts through these episodes, has really accelerated that process and that progress towards that. I recorded the first, the inaugural, well, the first episode and the inaugural roundtable episode of the Wealthy Artist podcast last week with Morgan Burns and Ashley Harvey and Mark Franklin, previous guests on the Not a Straight Line podcast. And that was just absolutely astounding. I lost count of the number of times that if I had a mic in my hand, I would have dropped it. Just what a incredible, inspiring group of humans they are. And I just couldn't think of a better bunch to have been in conversation with to effectively launch the Wealthy Artist podcast. So that's done. That's in the can, ready for editing. And we're going to repurpose a few of the episodes from Not a Straight Line, artists that I've had conversations with, people like Jodie Bentley and Ian McIntosh and Joshua Morgan and Izzy Stevens and Sam Bennett. And, you know, there's a good maybe 8, 9, 10 artists that I've had conversations with, and they'll just slot straight in to carry on from that first episode with Ashley, Morgan, and Mark. So yeah, things are really picking up, and I'm excited and motivated and got huge momentum. And one of the things that has contributed to that momentum is being involved with Rachel Elnor Love. Rachel, you may well know as one of the original dragons in Dragon's Den. She was in the first 2 seasons. She founded Red Letter Days back in the day. She's also been on the Not a Straight Line. I cold emailed her a few months ago, to the back end of last year, and she graciously replied after she'd checked out a few of the previous episodes and my testimonial video, and said, "Yeah, sure, let's get in conversation." And earlier this year, well, not earlier this year. Well, okay, let's just slow down, Peter. Slow down, take a breath. Earlier this year, Rachel announced that she was going to be running a 28-day business transformation program called, well, personal and business transformation. Let's face it, you know, business is the ideal playground for personal development, called A Dragon's Guide to Business. And it started on the last new moon, and it's 28 days to coincide with the cycle of the moon. And we're halfway through today. And what the challenge was in today's video, Sunday the 11th of May, was with everything that we've learned in the last 13 days in terms of ideas about bringing money from the future into the present and ideas for building a tribe. Although I've obviously done a lot of that over the last year with the Not a Straight Line podcast. I've done some audience building. I don't have a huge audience. There's knocking on 1,000 people a month downloading the Not a Straight Line podcast. So there is that. Obviously connected with all the incredible people that I've had conversations with for the Not a Straight Line podcast. So I've definitely got more of a reach to potential customers and clients than I did this time last year when I was still driving full time for money and sanity. I think that's what I was doing. So yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought there a bit. Oh yeah, Rachel's challenge for us today to come up with this creative project. Well, it just came to me straight as soon as I watched the video, as soon as it came to me, because in one of the earlier videos, Rachel had talked about some of the ways that you can bring money from the future into the present. And an example that she gave was Seth Godin, prolific author, credible marketing mind. And when crowdfunding first came out, he decided to test it, and he crowdfunded a book called The Icarus Deception. And he raised a stupid amount of money on Kickstarter. I think he had that. And he went ahead and wrote the book. And as soon as I saw that, firstly I thought, well, what a great idea. But then when Rachel set the challenge today, it was like, oh man, yeah, that makes total sense. Because when the wealthy artist came to me the other day and just listen to the daily episodes this week, because they include the conversation from Monday last week, I guess, because they include my reflection on the conversation I had with Jason Leister, which was it's hugely informative to the wealthy artist. But the way that I kind of encapsulated the vision for the wealthy artist was I asked ChatGPT to come up with the cover for a book for it. And it took about 3 or 4 iterations, sort of backwards and forwards with ChatGPT, but it eventually came up with something. And that's what I've been using. I posted it on LinkedIn when I changed my headline, my title, my description, my focus on LinkedIn from what I was doing, Activate Your Podcast and helping you start a conversation-led podcast, blah, 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 boring, boring, boring. No one wants to do that. And now on LinkedIn, I'm Peter Daly-Dickson, the wealthy artist, helping creatives break free from the day job and live their dream artistic life. And that's who I am. And so, so I just came up with, I asked ChatGPT to come up with a book cover just because I thought that was a way of kind of very easily expressing it. So it says, The Wealthy Artist, Break Free from Your Day Job and Live Your Dream Artistic Life with Peter Daly-Dickson. And I had with Peter Daly-Dickson instead of by, because I was thinking about it as a podcast at that time. But as soon as Rachel gave the idea about Seth Godin crowdfunding his book and then giving this challenge of picking one creative project to focus on exclusively over the next 2 weeks to then launch on the next new moon on May 27th, I thought it's a no-brainer for me. On May 27th, I will be launching a crowdfunding campaign for my first book, The Wealthy Artist, Break Free from Your Day Job and Live Your Dream Artistic Life. And in a vacuum, that idea has absolutely no chance of working whatsoever, particularly when you consider my previous background of ideas and starting things and not following them through and whatever. But in the context of the journey I've been on over the last year, that there is no, I was going to say there is no doubt in my mind that it won't succeed, but that's in the negative, and I don't talk about things in the negative, is that the only thing I see is a successful crowdfunding campaign which brings money from the future into the present, which relieves my current financial constraints, which are real, but they're not ignored, that I don't let them dictate what I do and the energy I have moving forward. And that crowdfunding campaign will then provide the funds to allow me to focus full-time on writing the book, The Wealthy Artist. And if all goes according to plan, that'll be in collaboration with my good friend and co-collaborator, Nick O'Brien. I'm sure I've mentioned him on this podcast. I left him a 12-minute Telegram voice note before recording this. So he's got that to look forward to when he gets up. He's in Milwaukee. So over the last couple of days, I've been talking about the Spark method of the Wealthy Artist. That will be the program. And I wouldn't be surprised if how to crowdfund something, it becomes part of the Wealthy Artist program, because when I have experience of doing that, and as I say, bringing money from the future into the present, to creating a bit of cash flow to then allow people to step into their start stepping into their dream artistic life. I guess what I'm saying is that if this time last year, when I was still driving full time for sanity and money, this program had existed, which could accelerate so it's taken me a year to get where I'm at, because I've been figuring it out as I've gone along. And if this existed this time last year, then who knows? Who knows? Maybe I wouldn't have stuck with it because of all the reasons. But anyway, I'm creating this for the version of me that existed this time last year, in the hope that there's at least one other person in the world that I can help with that journey and help them get to their dream artistic life quicker than they can on their own. So that's all exciting and motivating and all the rest of it. And it's not coming out of nowhere. It's been building over the last year, really, since I made the decision to take one day off a week from driving, to create space to then lead on to everything else. That journey's well documented in this podcast, both the daily episodes and the pillar episodes and the conversations I've had. So yeah, that's that. And the other reason that I'm finishing today and not on Monday or any other day is, yes, it's the last day of a weekend and it feels like a natural closure, but also today is my parents' 60th wedding anniversary. So my mum, Jenny Dickson, hi mum, and my dad, Arthur Dickson, hi dad, have been married for 60 years today. And I would not be strolling up and down in my garden as the sun is starting to come up over the trees at the back on a glorious May morning with hardly a cloud in the blue sky, if it was not for those two. Well, I told you this was going to be a potentially emotional episode. I wouldn't be here without you, Mum and Dad. I'm going to talk to you directly because I'm going to send you the link to this episode. And this is my 60th wedding anniversary present to you, a public acknowledgement of love and appreciation for who you both are individually as incredible human beings, and who you are together in your marriage as my mum and dad. Thanks for your support. I remember, and something I've said to many, many people over the years. Always remember. It's weird. I don't know whether to talk to you, mum and dad, personally. I think if I do that, it might the listener, a listener who isn't you, might feel excluded. So I'll talk to the listener, knowing that you're also listening. Is I always remember my dad saying to me, and kind of just instilling in me that instilling in me a belief from such a young age that I could be whoever I want to be. I remember we were brought up in Hong Kong. That if you've listened to more than one of these episodes, one of these episodes of this podcast, you'll probably know. And I remember we went to a circus, and this was back in the day, because I've been around the sun a few times, and they still had animals. I mean, that shows you how long ago it was. Still had animals at the circus. I'm pretty sure, anyway, what his memory kind of gets a mashup. Anyway, I have a memory of going to the circus where there are animals, and sometime afterwards, I remember Dad saying that. You can be a ringmaster at a circus, and I don't know what it is about that, but that's stuck with me. And I'm not a ringmaster at a circus, but I am a ringmaster of sorts in terms of, I don't know how to describe it, but just remember that belief being instilled, and oh God, just so many things. But I'm sure the listener who isn't my mum and dad doesn't want me gushing too much more. But mum and dad, I just want you to know how much I love you, how proud I am of being your son, and how much I'm looking forward to sharing this next part of my journey with you, because I would not be the wealthy artist, and I would not be in a position of helping so many other people live the life that maybe their parents encouraged them that they could be. But for whatever reason, they've lost that belief. Well, I didn't lose that belief. Thank you for putting that in me, and for everything. I can't articulate it. I love you very, very much.